Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Mark Hunter. Mark is a thought leader, and I might add, a great speaker in the field of sales. He is also the author of two amazing books, High Profit Selling and his new book, High Profit Prospecting. Well, I work with a lot of SaaS companies, and part of their first things is they want to have the landing page, they want to build the sales funnel, and the problem is the sales funnel isn't like the funnels that probably you and I talk about. A sales funnel to them is just as automated as this click thing.
That's the problem. Right. Yeah.
And when we finally get down to prospecting, they're typically out of money trying the other things, or sales prospecting. And they think of prospecting as something we hire 3 or 4 people and just start making a bunch of calls. Can you put something around that of maybe when a younger company should start, or even, and how they should start with prospecting?
Well, yeah, first of all, everybody needs to be prospecting. Prospecting is something like taking a shower. I would hope you do it on a daily basis. More companies get into trouble because they feel, we're going to build our business off referrals, or we're going to hit this home run. And everybody in the you must create an environment in your organization of prospecting. You must be saluting the salesperson who brings in a new customer. Now, let's get further upstream. Let's talk about when does it start. There is no reason why anybody can't pick up the phone and calls, but nobody answers the phone. Well, guess what? You know what? I find that to be a bunch of bunk. Now, here's why. Here's what I've found. I have done this on many, many occasions. I'll call somebody. I'll call a CEO. I'll call a CIO. I'll call various people up at the top of the food chain. And you're right. I get voicemail or I get nowhere. But you know what I'll do? I'll leave a very tight message. Voicemail message. Okay, fine. They don't return the call. I'm not concerned. I look at a voicemail message as really being something like a billboard along the side of the road. You see it. One billboard doesn't change your behavior, but you see enough of them and it does. So what I'll do is I want to reach you in multiple different formats. And don't sit there and say, I'm just going to hit them with emails. Well, guess what? Especially if you're dealing with a larger company, they've got some pretty good spam filters in place. And if you hit somebody with 3 or 4 messages over a fairly tight time frame, we'll say a month or so, and they don't respond, their spam filter probably picks it up and just says, that's a spam name. Boom, boom. That address never comes into them again. You see, and I'm going to put tracking tools on it. I get it. Plenty of tracking tools to see if it's open and so forth. I get that. But guess what? I'm just measuring something. Am I creating results? And I don't want to measure. I want to create results. So what I want to do is I want to prospect to you using different formats and different measurements. And here's something else that I found. And let's talk about the top of the funnel. There may be 400 people on LinkedIn, but are 400 million people using LinkedIn? I know I was just recently dealing with, I just recently spoke at a major conference, 600 people in the audience, major industry, advanced degrees, critical industry to America. None of those people are on LinkedIn. None of those people are on Twitter. None of those people are on Facebook. They're just not there. It's just an industry that doesn't exist. What's interesting is huge industry. See, so it's totally dark to social media. And there's a lot more industries out there than we realize. So I can't sit there and rely on just one to think I'm going to get through to everybody. I want to use social media because that's, everybody's going to go there to validate, before if you were calling on me, I'm going to Google your name. I'm going to see what the internet has to say about you. So I got to create that social media presence. I get that. I totally get that. But don't think that I'm going to use that as the only tool I'm going to get in. So I'll use social media, I'll use the telephone, I'll use email, I use direct, I'll use whatever means is possible. And here's what I found. What works today probably won't work a year from now. I'll use a great example. Back here a few years ago, everybody was touting postcards. Postcards. This is about 7 years ago. Postcards. Nobody gets postcards. Send postcards. And then it seems like the real estate community adopted that as their go-to for everything. I can't begin to imagine the number of postcards. I can't begin to count the number of postcards I get every day from real estate people. It's no longer effective, you see. I got to continually be using different tools to stay ahead. So back to your question, when should a small company begin prospecting? They need to begin prospecting literally right from the get-go. And the 3 formats you're going to use. A, I'm going to use landing pages. I'm going to use social media, but I'm also going to pick up the phone and call. And I'm going to use all 3 of those. And I'm going to be calling the same people that are hitting my landing pages. I got to put everything into the funnel. I have to do the great strategy that is found on the back of every shampoo bottle. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Because too many times, too many companies start a prospecting process. They put their toe in the water, and then they get a customer, and yep, yippee skippy, everybody gets excited, and they stop prospecting. You have to prospect every day, period.
The other side of that, what you just said, is one of those myths that you had in your book, and the one that hit the most truth to me, okay, that just jumped at me, okay, is we've made it this long without prospecting. And, because so many companies I get, especially IT companies, okay, when they go to scale, okay, they build a business because of relationships, who they knew, who wanted to trust them with their computer stuff, because the people, didn't know what they were buying, so they had to buy it on trust, right?
Yes, yeah.
And now they want to scale, but they've never developed a repeatable process to acquire a customer. Should that be of a concern, like you just mentioned, to have a formal process?
Yes, it is. And this is why you see a lot of companies, they come out of the chute, they have some early success. And they think they're going to be the next Google. They think they're going to be the next Facebook. And then so as a result, they never adopt the practices of being hungry. And when you're hungry, it's amazing how you prospect. So what happens is then they get over that flurry of great new business, and then they go, what do we do? Yeah. Well, I mean, we have seen that time and time again. And this is a little bit of a side note to anybody in the investing side of the business. You have to be looking at any company you're going to be investing in. What's their prospect? What is their customer acquisition strategy? What is their customer acquisition process? And does it entail multiple formats, multiple methodologies? Because otherwise you will be unsuccessful. You will lose your investment. I look at prospecting a lot like selecting an elevator. And that elevator in a building will go to different floors. And see, each floor is a different process, because that's the other problem people get themselves into. They adopt one prospecting model. Well, we send out 2 emails, we do 2 drip pages and 3, and that's our process. That's our process. Probably not good. What I want to do is I want to have different models set up, because at any one time there's going to be wiggles and shakes. If you think about it, there's not just one Starbucks in your town. There's probably 100 Starbucks in your town. Why? Because each one's reaching a different audience. Each one is reaching a different type of consumer.
I've read High Profit Prospecting. I've listened to it, I think, twice now, okay? The audio is nicely done. I want to make sure I compliment you on that before you get away from me, okay? Great book. It makes a lot of sense and a lot of practical stuff you can put to use. What's the best way for someone to learn more, contact you? Of course, High Profit Prospecting is on Amazon, but where else do I find it?
Yeah, you can. Hey, jump out to thesaleshunter.com. When you got that name, you got to use it. Thesaleshunter.com. You jump out to the website. There's a ton of things out there that you can download, you can use. And hey, of course, you can find me on social media. I'm all over social media. I'm all over LinkedIn. I'm all over Facebook. I'm all over Twitter. And I'm all over YouTube. But engage with me, because I love it when people, in fact, it's funny. Just yesterday, a gentleman, he was reading the book, sent me a question by way of Twitter. I loved it. send them back a quick note. I said, hey, I'll have more time tomorrow. I'll get you a better response. But I love engaging with people, so don't hesitate. And hey, let me give people my number, because you know what? I talk about the telephone, 402-445-2110. How's that? You got my telephone number. There you go.
I think that's awesome, Mark, and I hope someone burns your lineup with it, okay?
I love it.
So, okay, I'd like to thank you very much. This podcast will be available in the Business 901 iTunes store and the Business 901 blog site. So thanks to all the listeners out there.
Great selling.